Lady Bird Johnson became involved in beautification and conservation through a life that slowly shaped her beliefs, her strength, and her sense of responsibility. To understand how she reached that point, it helps to look at where she came from and the experiences that quietly built her into someone who cared deeply about the environment and the way people live. She was born as Claudia Alta Taylor on December 22, 1912, in a large home near Karnak. The house was big, with many rooms, and it stood on land that carried both wealth and history. Her father, Thomas Jefferson Taylor II, was a successful man who owned stores, land, and businesses. He believed in making money through hard work and smart deals. Her family also had a long history, going back many generations, which gave her a sense of tradition and identity from a young age. Her nickname, Lady Bird, came from her nursemaid, who said she was as pretty as a ladybird. That simple comment stayed with her, and over time, people stopped using her real name. The nickname became her identity, and it followed her through school, college, and eventually into public life. But her childhood was not as perfect as it might seem. When she was only 5 years old, her mother, Minnie Lee Patillo Taylor, died after a tragic accident. This loss had a deep effect on her. Losing a parent at such a young age left her feeling alone and confused. Her aunt, Effie Patillo, stepped in and helped raise her. Effie became a steady and caring presence in her life, giving her the emotional support she needed. Growing up, Lady Bird lived between two different worlds. One side of her family was more traditional and focused on culture and education, while the other side was practical and business-minded. These influences shaped her personality. She became quiet, thoughtful, and observant, but also strong and determined. She had to leave home for school because her small town did not have a high school. This experience made her independent at an early age. She often felt lonely, but she found comfort in books, especially classical literature. Reading gave her a sense of stability and helped her understand the world better. She worked hard and graduated at just 15 years old. Later, she married Lyndon B. Johnson, a man who would go on to have a powerful political career. Their marriage was complicated. While they supported each other in many ways, it also came with challenges, including personal struggles and public pressure. Despite this, Lady Bird remained strong and continued to build her own path. One of the most important steps in her life came in 1943 when she used her inheritance to buy a struggling radio station called KTBC in Austin. At the time, the station was failing. It had limited power, could only broadcast during the day, and was losing money. Many people would have seen it as a bad investment, but she saw potential. She did not just invest money and walk away. She worked hard to turn the station around. She learned the business, managed operations, sold advertisements, and made important decisions. Within a short time, she was able to improve the station's performance. She secured approvals to increase its power, change its frequency, and allow it to broadcast full-time. These changes helped the station grow quickly. She also managed to get the station affiliated with CBS, which brought popular programs and attracted more listeners and advertisers. Over time, the station became profitable and successful. This was the beginning of a larger media business that would later include television. In 1952, she expanded into television by launching KTBC TV. This was a bold move, especially since television was still new at the time. She chose better technology that gave her station a stronger signal, allowing it to reach more people. For several years, it was the only television station in Central Texas, giving her a strong position in the market. Her success in business showed that she was not just a political wife but a capable and intelligent entrepreneur. She built a media empire through hard work, smart decisions, and persistence. However, her life was not only about business. She also faced personal challenges, especially in her marriage. Her husband's behavior in public life often brought stress and embarrassment. Despite this, she handled these difficulties with quiet strength. Instead of focusing on pain, she chose to direct her energy toward meaningful work. A major turning point came on November 22, 1963, during the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Lady Bird was in the motorcade in Dallas when the president was shot. Within hours, her husband became president. This sudden change placed her in the role of First Lady during a time of national shock and grief. She began recording her thoughts and experiences shortly after the event. These recordings helped her process what had happened and later became valuable historical documents. They showed her perspective during one of the most difficult periods in American history. As First Lady, she became more involved in public work. One of her main focuses was beautification and conservation. She believed that the environment affects people's well-being. Clean streets, green spaces, and natural beauty could improve lives and bring a sense of pride to communities. Her interest in nature came from her childhood. Growing up in rural Texas, she developed a love for the outdoors. This connection stayed with her throughout her life. When she had the opportunity to influence change, she used it to promote environmental improvements. In 1965, her efforts led to the creation of the Highway Beautification Act. This law aimed to control billboards, reduce pollution, and improve the appearance of highways. It encouraged planting flowers and preserving natural landscapes along roads. The project was not easy. Many businesses, especially those in advertising, opposed the changes because they feared losing money. Despite this resistance, she continued to push forward. Her determination helped the law pass, and it became one of her most lasting achievements. Her work in beautification was not just about appearance. She believed it was connected to larger issues like mental health, community pride, and quality of life. She saw beauty as something important, not something small or unnecessary. During this time, the United States was facing many challenges, including the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. These events created tension and division across the country. Lady Bird witnessed protests, unrest, and growing dissatisfaction, especially among young people. She tried to understand these changes, but it was not always easy. She supported progress and believed in fairness, yet she sometimes struggled to connect with the anger and urgency of younger generations. This created a gap between her views and the views of many activists. Despite these challenges, she continued her work. She traveled, gave speeches, and supported causes she believed in. One notable moment was her train tour through the southern United States in 1964. During this trip, she spoke to large crowds and faced both support and hostility. The journey was risky, but she remained calm and focused. She also dealt with serious threats during this time, including bomb scares and security risks. Even so, she did not step back. Her courage showed her commitment to her role and her beliefs. Through all of this, she kept recording her thoughts in audio diaries. These recordings captured her experiences, emotions, and observations. They provide a detailed look at her life and the events happening around her. Historians later recognized their value and used them to understand that period better. Her involvement in beautification and conservation was not a sudden decision. It grew from her childhood, her love of nature, her personal struggles, and her desire to make a positive difference. She believed that improving the environment was a way to improve people's lives. In the end, Lady Bird Johnson's story is one of quiet strength and steady determination. She was not always loud or dramatic, but her actions had a lasting impact. She built a successful business, supported her husband through difficult times, and used her position to promote meaningful change. Her work in beautification and conservation continues to influence how people think about the environment today. She showed that even small changes, like planting flowers or cleaning up spaces, can have a powerful effect. And she proved that caring for the world around us is not just important, it is necessary.